Go. Alright, let's see. How can I do this? I think I did it over there before. I don't have a timer. Oh, but this is the timer. Okay, anyway, so we have to go fast. Hello, it's me, Pork. It's Wednesday night, oh, that wasn't a good one, but A for effort. It's the 17th of April, 2024. It's, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night, something like that. I just watched this amazing show on PBS about the future, and it's got me all inspired. I had a half a brownie, and I just took a pain pill because my back is killing me, and my arm is killing me, and my neck is killing me. Everything's killing me. But I'm stretching and I'm doing exercises, so I'm trying to get better without the drugs. And using this amazing, like, massager. Oh my god. But it's unleashing a lot of locked in pain, and Parker doesn't understand that that's how the body works. Muscles that are tense, that you didn't even notice because they were so tight, they didn't move. When they start moving, you start realizing, oh, fuck, this is not right. And, you know, you start to feel pain. Those nerves that have been, like, clenched in a vice grip and, like, stopped working, start shooting, you know, neurotransmitters or whatever. It's just like high school biology, maybe a little college biology, I don't know. But that's basically how the body works, as far as I know. And you start feeling pain, and you gotta, like, work through it. Stretch, move, exercise. You can't, I mean, unless there's physical damage to the nerve, like it's cut, but that's a whole different story. Most people don't have that. Shit. I must go fast because we have limited time and there's so much to do. I can't spend hours doing my nails. But yes, it's another edition of whatever I called it. Chatting and clipping with Pork? Cripping with Pork. Something like that. I got this regular camera and I got my phone over here, because why not? And this documentary was so good. It's about not a documentary, well, kind of, I don't know what it is. Whatever they call it. It was like some futurist, whatever his name is, Ari something, he's a Jew, and that's like all in it. He's incorporating his life into it, and okay, why not? It's his thing. And it's about the future. He's a futurist. What the hell is a futurist? Someone who thinks about the future. Does he get paid to be a futurist? I think he does. He must have got paid to make this. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he's independently wealthy or he does something else. I have no idea, but just this third episode about stories and how stories are so powerful and can influence and do influence the way we think about ourselves and about our futures. And of course, that's true. It's not like really rocket science. It's nothing new. But the way he and whoever made this show put it together, it's just really good. And it's really inspiring. And like at a micro and a macro level, like on an individual and as a society, he really, you know, tells a story about how our stories, talk about meta, can be powerful and can often be used to limit the way we see ourselves and our futures, and how if we changed our stories, or if you know, different people started telling their stories, Maybe that would change the way we told our own stories, and maybe we'd come up with something better than just like the regular apocalyptic nightmares that we seem to all envision, and I have nightmares about constantly. While entertaining in a sick way, like horror movies, I don't know what someone should, I'm sure someone's written a book, and there's probably college courses about why people, humans, are interested in seeing stuff like that. I don't know why, but I do like apocalyptic movies and stories like that the Baba doesn't like, so I don't know why. For me, I like to imagine what it would be like to, I think it's going to happen. Maybe these people want to imagine what it's like if they were being stalked by a serial killer, and they just want to be ready for it. If someone ever answered the question, why do you like horror movies like that, I could understand it. That makes sense to me. I'm not looking for that. I'll deal with that when that comes, if that time should come. Anyway, talking about clipping, clip, 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 clip. There was a something about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre today. There's a whole category on Jeopardy today about horror movies, actually, and my girl won again. She's a 5-time champion. You go, girl. Whatever your name is, Allison. Franco thinks you write it like Sanskrit, but I love that she's like a champion. That's like, she seems genuinely shocked that she's winning. Maybe that's all bullshit, and maybe I'm not good at it. I'm sure people think she's, they hate her for that. But I can't, she seems genuine to me. And I'm usually a pretty good, actually, no, I suck. I'm so gullible, I believe anything anyone tells me. But I want to believe. And that's kind of what I ended up at today, is that one thing about humans that we all have in common, or most of us have in common, is that most humans, and I'm referring to myself as a human, yes, I know, because I grew up thinking that, and I believe it, in a way, because I've been, taught to believe it. I've since come to believe other things, but I still go back to that old thinking, and two things can be true at the same time. I say, like, Jesus Christ, even though I don't think Jesus Christ is the Son of God, because I don't believe in God. Sometimes I say God, sometimes I pray to God, but I don't believe in God. But why do I pray to God? Because it's just like, something ingrained in my brain. But I can do that while not believing in it at the same time. And I don't know. I think most people can if they tried. And I think most people too, but we think that we can't because we're told that we can't. Anyway, I should get to cutting. Maybe this is the part, this is the thing, I can't talk and cut at the same time. That's the problem. So maybe I will take a break. No, I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna cut as we go, but I think something's gonna end up at the 10-minute mark, and it's not gonna be good. See how I do this? Where is it? If only I could have it the other way, because there's really no way to do it like this, where you could see how I'm doing it like this. Close up on something most people really are not interested in. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do the actual thing because it's really over here. But I could do it over here. No, I can't do that. I'm sorry. Nobody wants to see that anyway. It's bad enough just hearing the clip. 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 So I was thinking, yeah, and basically, it was basically a call to, not arms, but a call to, I don't know, our imaginations. And each of us, it's up to each of us to use our imaginations to try to figure out a better future. I don't know the answer, but that doesn't mean I can't try and think of one. And if everyone was doing that, maybe that would actually benefit all of humanity instead of just me or you. then maybe we'd actually be able to think of something. Instead of, all these writers who, like now, being a writer for TV or for movies or the internet or video games, you have to go to fucking Harvard. Like, God forbid, some of these, like, Harvard educated, supposedly the smartest people in the world, but really they're just the most connected and rich. And yeah, rich people are quote unquote smart because they get to go to the smartest, best schools and they have the resources to learn. And their parents have, have had that. And actually, some of them, maybe many of them, are actually not that smart. But people just assume they're smart because they're rich. Imagine that. I mean, I'm not going to name any names, but I'm sure everyone could think of some rich, powerful people who are actually not that smart. It's not that hard to come up with some names on, no matter what you believe. Because, yeah, rich people don't have to think. They're rich enough, they can just use their money and their power and their powers of persuasion. That's a whole different story. But most of us are not that, and I mean the billions of humans that live on this planet that are not rich and powerful. That's the majority of humans. We, together, no matter how rich the richest are, there's so many more of us that if we all basically decided, you know what, we don't want to do this anymore. We don't want to live in this kind of world, and we're not just going to accept that there's no way to make it better. We're gonna just do it. And in this TV show, this guy shows a bunch of people doing it on a relatively small level. Some in towns, just as individuals, and as towns. I mean, it's amazing. Like, people are, changing industries just because they thought of an idea and they tried and they envisioned a future that was better than the one that they might have assumed was possible. And I could do that. I mean, supposedly I went to school for shit like that. And I think, well, we don't need more stories, but maybe we do need more stories. Maybe we need more stories of a better future instead of the same old tired past. Like, of course I could put shit like that in the story. But yeah, I think, and this video, this show did a really good job of talking about how it didn't always used to be like that. In the 50s, we envisioned like brighter futures. Of course, Ford Motor Company envisioned lots of cars, and what a coincidence. We all believed it and made it happen. But we could just as easily envision a future without cars if we wanted to. I mean, it's really up to us. And this one lady who was like an environmentalist, evangelical environmentalist. Oh my God, amazing. See, I just did it there on my pork. I try to say pork instead of God, but still, it slips out. Not that God is pork, but pork is everything, so God is pork. Or pork is God, I should say. To me, of course, not to anyone else. And it's just because I believe it. You can't, no, I am choosing to believe that, so I'm kind of going against my belief. But I said most humans, and then again, am I really human? I don't know. But I think most humans don't believe what they believe because they choose to believe it. I think they, like God. Who chooses to believe in God? They talk about choosing to believe in God, but nobody really chooses to believe in God. You can't choose to believe in God. If you could, I would, because people who believe in God seem to like have a pretty good deal. They know where they're going. They all seem to win Oscars and Emmys and shit like that. They're always thanking Jesus. And they seem to have, a lot of them, I don't know, just something to get them through the bad times, this belief. I don't have that. The only belief I have that is not supported by any evidence is that death is final and complete. But I really have no proof of that either. It's just a belief. Why? I don't choose to believe that. But I do want to believe that. And I do kind of believe that. It just seems the most logical explanation. And I don't have any proof to the contrary either, or any evidence, despite people believing in ghosts. I have yet to see any real evidence of that that's not fake. But, you know, I'm open to it. Anybody? I talked to Fred, the ghost of Fred. I'm still waiting for him to talk back. But, you know, if he does, I won't be completely shocked. I'll be like, oh, okay, I was wrong. It's very easy for me to admit that I'm wrong. I don't know. Some people don't think that that's true. It's just that I'm not wrong very often. I mean, sometimes, often, but relatively less often than not, I think. But again, that's subjective. But I try to be objective. I probably am subjective in a negative way toward myself and don't give myself as much credit as I deserve. Most people don't really think about that and probably don't assume that from me because I do seem so sure of myself so many times. But most of the time it's just based on my experience and my knowledge, or what I remember from learning, because I've always loved to learn. And I used to be able to remember things, now not so much. But it's still in there somewhere, so at least when I'm watching Jeopardy, you know, when I answer, I tend to get the answer right. But I don't know most of the answers. Maybe it's 50-50. I guess a lot. But most of the time that I guess I'm right. Or at least half. I guess that is looking on the bright side of things. But that's pretty good for a guess. And it's hard to guess that because you really have to know. But I don't know where it comes from sometimes. And we're both surprised. But Porco does the same thing. But he's better at Wheel of Fortune. You know, go figure. He's more of a writer than I am. I'm more of a talker. But trying to get him to write more. But yeah, it's inspired me. I posted it. Oh, I bet you this isn't even running anymore. Let's see. No, it is. 18 minutes. So what does it go to, 30? Oh, yes, it's 30. Then what am I thinking, 10? This one's already at 18. Oh, because they're both the same length. Interesting. So my calculations are wrong, or my memory of those calculations is wrong, which is more like it. So yes, it took me about a half an hour last time to do a hand. Oh, that's what it was. I didn't just end on a half an hour because I didn't know it was going to cut off at a half an hour. Usually it takes me a half an hour to do 2 hands. But once again, we're starting with the left. And hopefully I can get it done in a half an hour. And then we'll switch to the right. I'm so not doing a good job. Usually I'm much more meticulous, but it's hard to do. For me, it's hard to do 2 things at once. This video is ridiculous because all you see is my crotch and a little bit of my head and my hands every once in a while. I can't remember what I did the last time. I could have sworn I did that, but maybe I put it a different way. I think I tried to angle it. This time it's just flat on the floor. It just is ridiculous. It just is ridiculous. So basically at the end of this, it's basically you know, I don't want to say a call to arms, but it's basically like, you know, a bunch of smart but not, you know, he very carefully picked people who did not speak in ways that divided people. He didn't talk to people who spoke in dualistic terms or you know, left and right, not even rich and poor. He left all the negative ways that we see each other and just tried to focus on the positive, which is what I've been saying to myself, and also to anyone who would listen, that we need to do, but I'm not actually doing it. Because I keep thinking of the old ways too. It's hard to get rid of those old ways. But maybe part of that is by envisioning the new way. And I do that. Yoink. But I could do it more. And that's what how he ended is what can we do? Literally. Most of us think we can't do it. Oh, and that was it her? The evangelical environmentalist. Oh, God. Like, she can talk to conservative people, and she does, in a way about environmental issues that, you know, liberal presenting people, did I just say that? I guess I'm one of them. Thinking people, left-leaning people, whatever. I mean, I don't even know what I am anymore. I always thought of myself as on the left. But now, some of the things that I thought the left stood for, now they don't seem to stand for anymore. So I don't know, everything is, and I think most people are kind of feeling that way. They must be, because maybe it's just that things are always changing and that people's identities are always in flux. Maybe that's why most people identify as independents, because they don't feel connected to either of these two, what I consider now to be fake, extreme, polar opposites, but really just two sides of the same coin. I don't think most people do think that way. I think the proof is in the pudding, but people argue that they do, they just don't admit it. But I think we're all more complicated than that, and nobody really believes 100% of any orthodoxy. Maybe somebody does. Most people don't. And there's always going to be a minority that is the extreme. But we can't cater to that minority. They exist, sure, but that we can't just assume that everyone that identifies a certain way is going to believe the exact same things as the minority. The majority of any group of people are not going to think the exact same thing. Or they're not going to think the same thing as the fringe. Just if the fringe is loud enough, they can take over, and they do. Because most people just don't care, or they're too busy. It's the freaks on the edge, the mentally ill, some of them, and the people who don't have jobs, or naked their jobs to fight for a cause. Most people are not like that. They don't even really know the issues. And if they did, they'd probably think a lot differently. Oh, I did one hand, so I should say, I should stop, because it's only 23 minutes. Look how good I did. And let's see, it's the feel test. You gotta feel it. Oh, I gotta do this. If I feel one iota, one sliver of whatever this is called, then it's not good. Okay, looks good. Feels good, I mean. On to light hand. Yoink.